Hey guys, today I'm gonna do a little deck tech on one of my EDH decks. This is Endrek Sahr, Master Breeder. This is one of my first generals that I ever actually picked up, just because he was foil, and I thought he'd be a really fun card to play with as a general. And basically, for some of you that haven't heard of him, he costs 5 mana to play. He's a 2/2 creature, and it says whenever you cast a creature spell, you put X/1/1 black Thrall tokens into play. And whenever you control 7 or more Thralls in play, you have to sacrifice Endrek Sahr. But this guy is ridiculously fun to play with in the right deck. And he's kind of hard to keep out on the field once you play him. Just because a lot of people that know my deck in particularly, they try to keep him off the field because the rest of the deck evolves around him. So I'm going to jump right in and start telling you about some of this stuff in the deck. So we'll start off with lands. I run 43 lands in the deck. I'm sorry, not 43, 34. 34 lands in this deck. Very few of them are other than basic lands. There's a reason for that. First off is Cabal Coffers. Taps, pay 2 colorless, tap it, add 1 black mana to your mana pool for each swamp you control. It's just what makes the deck go around, and sometimes it's just an amazing card. Adds so much mana. That's why I have so many swamps. Crypt of Agadeem, same thing. It taps for black, but you can pay 2 colorless, tap it, add 1 black mana to your mana pool for each black creature in your graveyard. It's a little bit better late game. We have Strip Mine, destroy target land. Vesuva, so you can copy Cabal Coffers, or you can copy a land that's legendary that your opponent has that you want to get rid of. Bajuka Bog gets rid of a graveyard. Spawning Pool makes a creature. It's kind of fun to have. Good blocker. And then Polluted Mire is just for cycling, and Barren Moor is also for cycling. The rest of them are swamps. Basically for Cabal Coffers, but I don't own a Bullrat Stronghold, or else I'd be playing with that as well. Maybe even put in some other things as well. But this is still on a deck in the works, and so far it's kind of fun to play. It's pretty fun. Go ahead and start with the creatures here. Get through these pretty quick. We got Braids, Cabal Minion. Start sacking creatures and you make your opponent sack. She's banned as a general, but not as a creature to play with. Necrotic Ooze, just kind of fun to have in any EDH deck that has black, just because there's so many creatures in the graveyard and you get so many abilities. Avatar Woe. She costs 6 less if there are 10 or more creatures in an opponent's graveyard. So when you play her, you actually get 8/1/1 converted mana cost tokens off the Endrek. And then, of course, she's awesome because you can tap and destroy target non-black creature. And she's got fear. Actually, it's destroy target creature, I'm sorry, so it's even better. Puppeteer Clique. Get some recursion from your opponent's graveyard. Plus you get 5 1/1s. Sangromancer. It's a really great card. Especially, there's a couple other cards in this deck that are to make your opponent discard. So there's some life gain there, which is very important with this. Draina. She's just direct creature kill. Kuan Ogre. It's Ascendant. He costs 3 to play. And when you play him, you get 3/1/1 tokens, which is great. And then if you have a sack engine, which there's plenty in this deck, you get to flip him, and at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they sacrifice a creature, so it's kind of nice. Bone Shredder. Costs 3 to play. It's got Echo, which doesn't mean much, because you probably won't pay it anyway, but when it comes to the play, destroy target non-black creature. So you get 3/1/1s, you destroy target non-black creature, and you still have a blocker for that turn. Same with Shriek Maul. He's got Invoke. He destroys target non-black, non-artifact creature, I believe. But when you play him, you get the converted mana cost, so it costs 5, so you get 5/1/1s, even if you invoke him for 2. Dracolic, he costs 7, but you can sack 3 creatures to put them into play. So you sack 3 Thralls, You put him into play, you get 7 more. You'll have to sacrifice Endrek Sahr, but it's well worth it for a 6/6 trample. Priest of Gix costs 3 to play. When he comes into play, you add 3 black to your mana pool. So basically, he's just a free 3 black creatures and 1 of himself, 2/1. So it's kind of nice to have those because the thralls are the main engine for most of the deck. They run everything in the deck tries to run off of sacrificing the thralls. Phyrexian Plaguelord. He costs 5 to play, but you can sack any creature to give target creature -1/-1 until end of turn, or you can tap and sack himself to give something -4/-4. It's great because you get 5 1/1s, so you can fling 5 1/1s in -1/-1s. Sadistic Hypnotist is probably the best card to get. If you get him, you pretty much win the game for the most part, just because your opponent, if they have a hand, you play him, you get 5 1/1/1s, and then it says sacrifice a creature, target opponent discards 2 cards from their hand for each creature you sacrifice. So that's 10 cards right there. Or 12 if you sacrifice himself too. Zombie or Corpse Harvester. He's just kind of a search engine. You sack a creature, search for any basic land, swamp, and a zombie card in your deck. There's only 4, but it's kind of nice to search for lands. Carrion Feeder, awesome card. Pay 1. He's a 1/1, and then he can't block, but you sack a creature, you get +1/+1 counter on him, so it stays on him. Viscera Seer, sack to scry. Bloodthrone Vampire, sack a creature, get +2/+2 until end of turn. Phyrexian Ghoul, same thing, sack a creature, get +2/+2. And then Tuka Husk, sack a creature, get +2/+2. Grave Titan, just for tokens, and he's kind of a beefy creature, one of the win conditions, hopefully. Geth, Lord of the Vault, zombie that you can search for. He's just an awesome card if you can get him out. There's a lot of recursion with him, some milling. And then Thopter Squadron and Pentavis. Both of these cards do pretty much the same thing. Thopter Squadron is a little cheaper, but it's at sorcery speed that you can take the tokens off. Pentavis is instant speed, but there's an infinite combo with these two. It's Sadistic Glee and Blade of the Blood Chief equipped onto either one of them, and then some sort of sack engine. Preferably Ashnod's Altar. Sack a creature, add 2 colorless to your mana pool, and then you get the +1/+1 counters back on either of them, and then you've got infinite colorless mana, and you've got infinite 1/1s. So it's really good combo. It's one of the win conditions. Enchantments, real quick. We've got Dawn of the Dead. It's got recursion. It lets you bring back a creature from your graveyard at the beginning of your upkeep. You lose 1 life, but if you can sack that creature before the end of the turn, you actually get that creature back in your graveyard. Oath of Ghouls and Oversold Cemetery. Both of these pretty much do the same thing for you. This one's global, so everyone gets to do it, but they get to return at the beginning of their upkeep, get to return a creature from their graveyard to their hand if they control more creatures in their graveyard than their opponent. This one is if you have 4 or more creatures, you get to return a creature. So there's some recursion there. Diabolic Servitude brings back a creature from your graveyard. If it leaves play, you exile it, but you return Diabolic Servitude to your hand, so you can use it again. Animate Dead, just an awesome card because you can target your opponent's creatures and bring them back to play. Stitch Together, you'd only play this if you had Threshold, but it brings a creature back to play. Soul Exchange, sacrifice a creature, put a creature from your graveyard into play. If the sacked creature was a thrall, it gets +2/+2, and most of the creatures you'll sack are thralls. Reanimate, cost 1. You bring a creature back from your graveyard, but it deals damage to you, but it's well worth it for the cheap casting. Zombify, cost 4. Put a creature from your graveyard to play. These are some of the other cards that are kind of life gain. You've got Blood Chief Ascension. Whenever opponents dealt damage, or 2 or more damage at the end of the turn, you put a charge counter on it. And then once there's 3, every card that goes to the graveyard, you gain 2 life, and they lose 2 life. It's really good for life gain. Black Market, whenever a creature goes to the graveyard, you get to put a charge counter on it, and at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add 1 black mana to your mana pool for each charge. It's really good. Conspiracy turns all your thralls into any other creature, preferably zombies, or vampires actually, either or. But it lets you play infinite amount of the zombie tokens from Endrek Sahr without having to sacrifice him. Sadistic Glee, part of that combo that I told you about with Pentavis and Ashnod's Altar. Grave Pact, because all your creatures are going to the graveyard, all your opponents get to sacrifice too. They get to feel the love. Infernal Darkness, this card can win games. When you play it, it's got a cumulative upkeep of 1 life and 1 colorless, or 1 black, I'm sorry, but all lands that produce mana now produce black instead of their original type, so it shuts down your opponent for a turn or 2. Siphon Mind, opponents discard cards, you draw 1 for each. Exsanguinate, it's really good in multiplayer, lets you gain some life. Diabolic Tutor, it's a search engine. Besiege the Queen, another search engine. Unfortunately, I don't have a Demonic Tutor, or else I'd have that in here. Evankar's Justice kind of destroys weenies with the buyback. It does 2 damage to all creatures and players. Eyelight's Ending destroys target non-elf creature. The kind of spells I wanted to look for were ones that destroyed target non-black creature, but I'm trying to find ones that are destroy target creature, or just ones that are in general, because there's so many black creatures in EDH. You don't want to go up against a black deck with cards like that. So go for the Throat, destroy target non-artifact. Black Sun Zenith, it's got recursion, it goes back to your deck. Devour and Shadow, destroys target creature. Ashes to Ashes, removes 2 target non-artifact creatures from the game. And Cannibalize, you choose 2 creatures your opponents control, give 2 +1/+1 counters, and remove the other one from the game. Death Cloud, just make them sack stuff, lose life. This is the only one that destroys target non-black creature. It's just because you can pay it for free for 4 life, and if you control a swamp. And then finally, the artifacts. Of course, you got your Soul Ring. Thrawn Dynamo, tap for 3 colorless. Gilded Lotus, tap for 3 of any color. Memory Jar, amazing card, especially with Geth's Grimoire. They discard 7 cards each, or if they can't play them, and then you draw that many at the end of the turn, so it's kind of nice. Skull Clamp, Swiftfoot Boots, Lightning Greaves, just stuff to keep your general alive. Explorer's Map, really good to search for Cabal Coffers. Claws of Gix, so you can sack any of them if you need to at a whim of 1 colorless and gain some life. Humble Possession, sack a creature, pay 2, tap it, gain control of target creature your opponents control, and you don't have to untap this. As long as it stays tapped, you control it. It's pretty nice. Spine of Ishsa, unfortunately the only sack engine I have with this is to sack it to the Gix, Claws of Gix. Altar of Shadows, another great card. It pay 7, tap it, destroy target creature, but it gets a shadow counter and you gain that mana at the next pre-combat main phase. Blade of the Blood Chief, part of that combo. It's like a Sadistic Glee on a stick. Phyrexian Altar, awesome card, adds black mana to your mana pool when you sack a creature. And then Ashnod's Altar, sack a creature, add 2 colorless to your mana pool, part of the combo. So that's my Endrek Sahr deck. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the box below. I'll try to go through some of my other EDH decks as I learn how to use these video recording stuff a little bit more. Have a great time sharing these videos with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy watching them. So just have fun playing Magic, alright? Thanks, guys.